All right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the grand finals are here for our DreamHack qualifier number one. One of 5 qualifiers set to take place. The first one, we don't know any teams yet going to DreamHack Summer 2015. After this best of 3 series, we will know one of those teams. And who would have thought Reason Gaming versus Fresh would be our grand final matchup? No sync. No BMG will not be a first team to qualify, and that's definitely interesting in itself, but definitely, again, it really shows you where our scene's at right now. And let's just say, as a spectator at least, it's a pretty awesome spot to be in. With that said, I'm Ricky CBK, joined by Snooey once again here. Going to be wrapping things up here with the best of 3, but that doesn't mean it's going to end quickly, because I'm sure this series could definitely go the distance, especially the way this event has been playing out. Would not be surprised. So both these teams definitely want to qualify and get the job taken care of. We'll see which one does, though. So anyways, we are developing another draft, so let's get into it here. Tremble, Warbeast, Ophelia, Parasite, the initial bans. Moira, first pick from Reason. Nier had a fantastic game with that hero against Sync in the Game 3, so not surprised to see that. Puppet Master response, Midas into Magnus is what we got here. So, Snooey, what do we got here?
Oh, we have seen every single top team more or less perform excellent with Mora, so I'm not surprised at seeing this hero being the first pick. We've seen Cernia especially playing it very well. Mint likes running with the Pebbles or the Dr. Repulsor, so this game, Recent Gaming says, no, we're not going to let you have it, especially not in the grand finals when a DreamHack spot's on the line. We're not going to give you any key heroes whatsoever. Instead, we see the Puppet Master, which I don't think the Probos necessarily have played too much. Darkly here as well, so it looks like they're going for what worked so well for them in game number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I was going to point out. It's one thing, okay, they took out Puppet Master, and I kind of agree with you. Maybe Probot's not necessarily, every now and then he does, to be fair. We need to talk about the builds that he does, and it's not like a rare hero for him, really, in the end. But they do leave Darkly open. You were making that point with Sync, where Sync, they don't like to play against this hero. And yeah, we did see that in that game 2 of that series, where really Imba Boy just eventually went off and eventually took over the game. So now Mint, it's going to be fun to see how they respond. And look at that Flux. Now, maybe not usually a pickup of theirs, but again, when they have Krake, formerly of BMG, he loves that hero. So they get the Flux option to go with the Magnus and Puppet Master here.
Does it work on a Mora illusion? The ultimate
the
Flux?
ulti? I assume so. Again, I don't see why not.
Well, I guess. Oh man, I'm so happy and so thrilled for those 2 teams. I would never predict these 2 teams to be in the first final. Quincy pointed it out as well early on, and I mean, I would have said that maybe Sync, maybe Nullstone, something like that. But Mint versus Reason Gaming, they have both really proven themselves, and they deserve to be here. Winner goes to DreamHack, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, but I guess I'm just gonna have to prepare for it and do my very best.
Absolutely, yeah. It is crazy again, but we're here. We got this best of the 3, and again, looking forward to having some fun in the end with it. So, look at that stat too from Quincy. This is actually the first time these 2 teams have happened to meet up in a tournament environment, Reason versus Fresh. So that is a little shocking. Yeah, Mint, again, Mint's not necessarily an old team. They are a little bit newer later on in the season. We started hearing about them, but still, it's a little bit surprising to see that. So
they have been scrimming quite a bit, at least. I know that for a fact, but I mean, once again, it's different. Scrims and tournament, you can't really compare. Scrims is something that you come home maybe from work, maybe from school, maybe you're tired, you didn't get your best night's sleep. But when it comes to a tournament, I hope at least everyone is super prepared. They've gotten a good night's rest. They are ready. They are prepared. They are loaded. And it's a different environment, so to say. So you can't really compare scrims and tournaments. And seeing that those 2 teams haven't faced each other before, and now they're going to do it in a grand final for a DreamHack spot, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty fun to see there. Legionnaire coming out with that 4th pick. Very interesting. Again, outside of BMG, we don't see it a whole lot. So, Reason Gaming, going to give it a go here. I'm sure it'll end up in the hands of Tankafed. Could you think of a reason why they maybe went Legionnaire here, though?
No, nothing really stands out to me. Flux is tanky as well, and it's not necessarily the best hero versus, or I mean, Legionnaire is not necessarily the best versus Flux. Magnus, Andromeda, no, not really. I don't know. I mean, when Sync was up versus Reason, they decided to man up versus this. And Reason Gaming, well, it worked out in the end, but it was a close call, to be fair. I mean, it was that Ophelia double tap that came in early on that actually secured the kill. Otherwise, they would have been in trouble. So I feel like Mint, possibly, they are known for playing very offensively themselves. So I feel like this could be an offensive. Oh my God, it's a Drunken Master once again.
I mean, they made it work against Sig. They did make it work against Sig. So we got to give them the credit there, right? that worked. So. That is a thing to keep in mind, and yeah, it'll probably end up in the hands of Zane. So, but yeah, usually doesn't have the highest win percentage. But look at the right click on a Nighthound over there. Now Probusca's knowing to play Nighthound, so that would be interesting. But also even now right click on a Sandray. So
I wonder now. Mint probably didn't see the second game because they were in the middle of their own series at that time. They checked the third game, but Reason Gaming ran a complete different strategy game number 2 and game number 3. So this might come as a little bit of a surprise. So I hope they're ready, because otherwise they're going to face the exact same thing as Sync was, and that's a very scary looking Dark Lady.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a good point. You do wonder if Mint was able to do. In fact, is the replay even up here for on the tournament stats side? No, it's not. Yeah, it looks like it's not up yet, even on the the replay to see like the heroes and stuff. So, to be fair, Mint, again, they were playing their series at the same time. So yeah, very good chance that they weren't tuning in. Now, whether or not they got somebody to tell them, what they did is a different story. But yeah, for all we know, they don't. They were just watching that game 3, as you pointed out, and kind of going off of that and saying, okay, they beat Sync, so clearly a team to look out for here. Sandwraith is going to be the pick in the end for good old Fresh here. By the way, Sync were 10-0 versus Drunken Master prior to Game 2. There you go. Yeah, the perfect streak is broken with that Game 2 there. So, Sandwraith, another hero, well, we just don't see often here. So, only 6 games in total. But why Sandwraith? Again, another case of why would they go this hero, you think?
If they didn't catch the second game of Sync, I feel like this might be a book out of Thailand strategy, where they ran the Sandwraith solo safe lane, and they ran an offensive tri-lane. So, for example, Kraka solo mid, the Magnus, Puppet Master, Andromeda offensive, and then the Sandwraith getting those early levels in a 1-versus-1 situation versus the Drunken Master. When he hits that level 6, they put a lot of pressure on, and he can easily transfer to that tri-lane and help setting up the kills.
Yeah. Okay. We got the global presence, again, him and the Flux on top of that, but yeah, it is very interesting, though. It's going to be played by a Probus, but again, knowing that they had the Puppet Master here as already a possible carry option, so, but Zibe is going to be the one playing the Puppet Master in this case. So, yeah.
And he gets the Ring of the Teacher, or the Guardian Ring, so that indicates that they are going for a tri-lane. Because then you want the Ring of the Teacher to control the lane, as well as give mana to your teammates.
So the aggressive tri-lane is what we're expecting here from Fresh. So now if you're Reason, thinking that could be a possibility at the very least, again, it goes back to, what can you do about it? Can you really do a whole lot?
No, I don't think so. First of all, they were Hellborn versus Sync, which is, like, it's easier for you if you're Hellborn to deal with a tri-lane than if you're Legion. Then it's a much trickier because, I mean, you simply can't walk up from that tower spot if you're the Dark Lady. When you're at Hellborn, you can still sneak in a few juke spots. There's a lot of trees in the way. But if you're a Legion, you're going to have a lot more trouble doing that. And now they don't have the Ophelia to come in for those gank attempts. They have a Legionnaire instead, who on the top of things are going to take the entire forest. So if Imbaboy were to go for a Rune Axe, they're going to be, sharing farm. And it just doesn't feel as optimal as they had when they were having the Ophelia.
All right, well, yeah, we'll see how it pays off for them here in this now the game number 1 of the grand finals here of our first qualifier. Again, to reiterate, you can find out all this information on HonTour.com, guys. You can go check it out yourself. But this is a portal that's actually up for. There's a button on the HonTour.com website that you can go to for the DreamHack Summer 2015, specifically with the qualifiers here, how things work, and kind of going through with you guys right here while we are in the pause. Again, it talks about the initial part of the event and how the format kind of works out here. So, again, stressing that the 7 teams that don't qualify from this one will then go to the next qualifier, and then will be joined by the winner of the 5 versus 5 Cup from the previous weekend. And actually, that would be this weekend, and I'm double-checking here. It looks like No Shades did take their game against Coolio. And so No Shades, you got Foss, Starzors, a couple of names you may recognize there. They're in the finals of that, and they're going to be playing, actually, Game 3, Shrek is Love versus Team Grief is still happening. So,
yeah, 26 minutes in, it is 21-11 hero kills in favor of Team Grief.
Okay. So Team Grief looking like they're in the good spot there. And that possible Game 3. So, yeah, setting up that again, that's important because the winner ultimately of that tournament, so the grand finals to be played here shortly as well, will then join everyone else next weekend in the second qualifier of 5 total once again. So, going to be joined by 2 teams from Southeast Asia and another team from, I believe, China, if I'm not mistaken. But the top 8 teams in the world going to be clashing. Going to be fun as always.
Wait, what did you say? China's going to come to what?
DreamHack, I think.
There's gonna be a Chinese team at DreamHack?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I know it's a 2 to Southeast Asia and then a 3rd team. I'm not exactly sure where it's from.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's big news.
Well, they were at the World Finals.
Yeah.
So, but oh yeah, it might be CIS actually. Yeah, it might be them. Okay, I'm not even sure. So let's just forget everything I said right there. Other than the 5 teams for North America and Europe, that's what I know for sure is going to be happening. Okay, so the laning phase here, you got Antro and Magnus heading towards the bottom with Puppet Master eventually. So yeah, as expected, we are going to see this. But they send Sandwraith mid and Flux top, actually.
Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that. I guess it's easier. Moore is not necessarily the guy that can dual lane mid, but still, yeah, all right. I mean, he's still going to get the levels, and he's going to be in a 1 versus 1 situation, but versus a Midas and owned me's Midas on top of things, that's not going to be favorable for Samurf. And something else that I want to point out as well, that Mint didn't go as a 5-man unit into the enemy forest and warded up this Legionnaires camp. They are going to get some off now anyway, though, so I guess it didn't matter in the end.
Jeez, yeah.
Oh my god, poor guy.
Well, he's got a Minotaur camp to work with. Yeah, Legionnaire is an interesting jungler as well. He's really, really reliant on what camps he gets. And so it's he's going to stack this one right here. I assume at level 1 he can't do a stack like this, though, right? I mean, actually, he does have 2 health potions.
He got 2 health, but yeah, exactly. So I think it should be fine. I think it is the Minotaurs as well. They are the ones that deal the lowest amount of damage, unless you count the Wild Hunters, but they can't really spawn at the hard camp. So yeah, 2 of those camps. They don't provide too much experience, though. That's the negative part, but at least he's going to be able to deal with them, so to say. Unless Andromeda is coming over and actually snatching all of it.
That would be something. The life of a jungle legionnaire. Okay, yeah, but he is able to do it pretty well. He gets some nice spin procs right there, and ultimately finishes off most of them. Has the 1 Minotaur left, but here comes that Andro Magnus. They're actually headed towards the middle lane. So this is, okay, what is going on here? Dark Lady's middle.
Hey, left bottom.
Yeah, they're just like, you know what? Puppet, have a good time. We'll,
It just comes down to the fact that he can't be versus a Trilern if he's on the Legion side. There's nowhere for him to hide as in the Hellborn. As if they were on the Hellborn side, so he's gonna struggle quite a bit.
Yeah, he is coming back towards the bottom now, maybe. I mean, the rune's gonna spawn here. He's gonna wait to see what it is. It looks like it's a refreshment. Top rune's double damage. Let's see who ends up going to that. But yeah, he is going to eventually make his way to the bottom, realizing that maybe the supports aren't here anymore. Instead, they're at the top lane, and Zane, yeah, he starts getting back as soon as he picks up on that. Before he gets jumped, so well played. Moira's actually going to pick up that double damage rune, and now head towards the middle. Now, Sandwraith, he knew that this was picked up. He has the vision over there, so obviously positioning himself appropriately.
This is something I found Mint not executing correct, or I feel like that's one of their flaws. The early rotations from their supports just usually it's not really optimal. Right now they are up at the top lane, but they're still both level 1 3 minutes into the game, and it's quite crucial that they get those early marches if they want to roam all around the map like this. They lift Puppet Monster down at the bottom, and they're allowing a Legionnaire to farm in his forest, which is something that I don't see any reason for whatsoever. I mean, why not shut down the Legionnaire? They are both level 1. The Legionnaire is like, he's going to be level 4 after taking this creep stack here, if not even level 5. So I mean, they are really not focusing on the right things right now. I mean, it doesn't matter if they get 1 kill up on Drunken Master. Rotating all over the map just because of 1 kill is not worth it.
That's true. You know, it really was shaping up to be Tankafed really struggling here because of all the camps that were blocked especially, and, you know, being the tri-lane down here and everything, but you're right. I mean, he's going to be level 4 after he kills off these 2 Vulture Lords, maybe just one. Okay, yeah, probably the second one, and let's see if we're even right on that. But anyways, the point is he's actually having a pretty good time, and there we go. He's level 4. He's over 200 gold per minute already, and again, especially considering the circumstances, that's pretty damn impressive. So, yeah, Fresh perhaps not prioritizing the most efficient here. I mean, Magnus is going to stick top, it looks like, and Andro will just stay bottom for the time being, but Legionnaire is going to be able to impact.
TT as well. I mean, that's just going to delay his marches even more. And Magnus with that low range on the Lava Surge in the beginning, I mean, he needs those early marchers, maybe even the Striders if he's going to be run as a secondary support to actually be useful. At this point, I mean, I felt like this was shaping up beautifully for mid, but these early rotations from the supports, they're just, I don't know. I mean, when you see Sync, for example, do this kind of thing, so you see Insania stacking and pulling that camp all the time. Oh, he's going to snatch the Invis room from Midas. That's a big one.
Yeah. That's a good steal right there. So in Invis, and we'll see. I mean, again, they know that he got the Invis rune, so ideally shouldn't be that sneaky as far as catching them. But Midas in the middle lane. It's a Sand Wraith, though, so yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, yeah, it doesn't really need to be the most worried here as far as getting jumped. But Magnus is going to make his way all the way to the bottom lane, and that's where Dark Lady does need to be a little careful. It looks like she's going to pick up on that, too, and head into the jungle at least a little bit. Again, this is a blocked camp here, so won't be able to get much there, but is spotted by Magnus as she's running over. And she's going to just check around, maybe see if the rune's still there, or I'm not too sure, to be honest. She's going somewhere. Dark Lady's on a mission.
She can't do too much. Exactly. Just trying to get a little bit of experience wherever she can at this point. Legionnaire is level 5, almost level 6 now, while Magnus and Andromeda is still stuck in level 2. 75 GPM and 78 GPM.
I like seeing that again. Dark Lady just here in the middle lane, almost like trying to set up a kill or, again, leeching experience if anything, but is just gonna hang around for the time being, knowing that the bottom lane can't do too much. Here we go, the middle lane though. Sand Wraith. Stun from Moira happens. Charge in from Legionnaire at the time. Oh, the pushback from Flux. Perfect timing. Will it matter in the long run? No, it won't. In fact, Imbo Boy gets credit for the kill. Puppet Master comes in, but the Puppet Show is really late, and it's not really going to do enough in the end. So, beautiful dive there from Reason. Man, that was so close. Well played by Cracky. It was very close to not happening, but
yeah, you gotta give him credit for that. That was some insane reaction on his part. I mean, he's at the top lane. I'm not sure what happened, if that was something that Mintas trained on, but that was his perfect execution by Flux. It was almost enough to save him.
Yeah. Drunken Master at the top lane is, how is he doing? 17, 18, and 4 now. Flux 34 and 13 though. So yeah, Cracky's, you have to say, dominating. But here we go. Lunge in right there. Moira's running over. Trying to get a range for a stun, applies the Shards of Harkon, of course, to his teammate. Gets a good follow-up stun off as a result. Has another stagger. Sand Wraith, though, ulti comes out. Magnus has a level 1 stun with the Lava Surge. They're going to turn it on a Drunken Master, and now Moira is also going to get caught out. She's got the Shards. Again, going back for the kill, maybe on a Flux, but it's not going to be close enough. And Nier's picked off. Well played. Good reactions, and again, overall good team support. And Sand Wraith being involved early on is what you like to see as soon as he hits level 6. Using that Mirage of his, so
that was really greedy though from Legion side. It was quite obvious that they weren't going to be able to bring that Flux down for quite some time, but they still kept going for him, and yeah, it didn't pay off. Marchers now up on Magnus, some extra gold on Sandruff. That's the kind of things that they definitely shouldn't do. I mean, as long as Marchers are not up on Magnus, he's more or less useless, but now he's at least going to have those and he can start roaming around the map a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the mid tower, by the way. It's really damn low.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, Port's coming in, but I think Midas can get this. No. Oh, one more. Come on, Midas. He can do it. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. No, denied by Kraken. He was a little closer, so.
Well, at least they get a tower kill, and that's kind of centerpiece of the map that you do not want to lose early on, because this is going to open up the map for this Legion team. They're going to be able to run towards or through the Hellborn Forest now. Oh, at the top lane, Samruff in trouble.
Yes, he is. Decapitate's ready, but won't even be necessary there. Couldn't get close enough anyways, and Probus still goes down, so good find on him. And again, Legionnaire roaming a little bit. Again, he's level 7 now. This is a Legionnaire that we thought was just going to struggle because of how things were shaping up. But Mint didn't necessarily prioritize that after the initial part, and that's showing here. Now back to the top lane. Magnus, he's going to be fine, as they didn't want to dive too far there. So Legionnaire, though, even stealing a stack here.
Oh, look at the bottom.
Yeah, Midas actually still going in onto the top lane and onto Magnus, but the bottom lane, so
Oh,
Magnus, is he going to get away? Actually, at the bottom lane now, it came down here, gets away, but back to Magnus, he's stunned away, and he's going to be fine. Good for action at both lanes there. And yeah, you see how far Reason's up. I mean, we talked about this earlier, getting a little greedy earlier. He's got some good spin proc chances, 3 creeps on him, so Samurth's going to fall back in. Andromeda caught in the background, though. Dark Lady here. The Taint Soul and the Dark Blades enough to cut her down. You see Flux coming in there. Release going to be applied to Legionnaire. He's taking some good damage. Nice heal coming out. He turns back in, decapitate. No, it's not enough for the kill on the Sandwraith. He will end up falling. Will Legionnaire. Sandwraith ulti comes out. I don't think he's porting, though, just simply for distraction, but a double tap for Zane is what we'll see in the long run. And did Legionnaire buy back? He did. Tango had a very early buyback.
Yeah, that's not too good. But in the end, I mean, it was still a complete victory for Recent Gaming. That was poor communication, though, by Mint. I mean, they knew for a fact that they were up versus 4 targets, and still they were chasing after. Magnus didn't have a stun, though. I'm not sure if his team was unaware of that, because it sure looked like they were counting on Magnus to actually get that kill onto Legionnaire at first. But in the end, he's just going to steam buff, and he's not going to really aid his team. So 3 kills for nothing, or 3 for 1.
Oh, Sandwraith, nice job using the Desert's Curse right there, going into the trees, and now Flux pulling, and the Legionnaire's in trouble. He's dead trouble, in fact. He goes down right there. All 5 heroes are up here for Mint. Everyone reacted. And
that's an alright trade, I guess. You don't really want to give those early kills away to the enemy supports, because they are going to be getting those early marchers and the wards, which is very important throughout the early to mid game. But at the same time, I mean, 5 or 4 ports, that's costly for the Hellborn team. But if they transition this into a push, it's still going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah. Now they're going to push the top side. But of course, if you're the Legion side, if you're Reason here, you know that all those TPs were used, so they can't necessarily react the most efficient. In terms of elsewhere, so a little bit of push here in the middle lane. Again, you see the instant replay of that big fight that took place at the top lane. And
oh, well played by Reason.
Yep, back to the live action, though. Great job with the Moira Dark Lady. And again, Moira just has so many strengths. That's another one of them right there. She applies the shards to Dark Lady. She jumps in as a result, and eventually the stun goes off on a Magnus and gets the kill. I mean, they dove basically almost to the base at 10.5 minutes in, and they get the kill and get out.
That comes down to the point as well that you mentioned that they used 4 ports up at the top lane, so they knew for a fact that no support was going to come.
Yeah. So good execution on their part, tied up at 5 hero kills apiece. You see Moira is still looking around, seeing if another opportunity arises. Not going to be the case, though. So Dark Lady will head back towards the bottom lane, and it's about 280 gold per minute. I mean, really, Emmaboy's been doing a lot of roaming here.
Oh, Sibba getting bottom lane.
And actually, yeah, at the bottom lane, Puppet Master opening on a Midas with the Voodoo Puppet. Dark Lady goes in, but immediately regrets that. As, again, nearly everyone is there.
Oh,
if she actually gets away, no, she's not. Yeah, if she just kept running straight, maybe. But the Flux pull him possibly would have done it anyway, so.
True.
Went for the getaway. It was unsuccessful. But yeah, jumping in there in the first place was where that was a no-no. Basically, he jumped in and all the TPs came.
Sibba is doing so well on that farm. 430 GPM. He's almost at that Shroud point already.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of playing the secondary carry here for the team, but exactly going to have that Shroud picked up earlier on in the game. Sandwraith already with the Energizer finish now, too. Assisting for the active play style that he can be.
Yeah, it feels like Reason Gaming is prioritizing the wrong things at this point. They have such a greedy lineup: Drunken Master, Legionnaire, Dark Lady. I feel like they should just try to secure their own forest and farm as much as possible, stack every single minute, and not go for these kind of, you know, aggressive plays. I mean, Legionnaire, he did well. I mean, he got a lot of levels, but he's 200 GPM now, so, and he's up here at the top lane. I mean, once again, it's nice that he's, you know, trying to be active and go for ganks in a way, but I still feel like he should try to prioritize that portal key before.
Yeah, they get the top tower kill at least, but there goes the bottom tower kill as well. In fact, they know somebody's down here. They know Dark Lady's down here and nothing to TP to, so Dark Lady's actually in a lot of trouble. Stunning from Magnus. Puppet shows applied, and that should be an easily killed Imba and it will be. Good find there by Fresh. knowing that he was in there the whole time. Want to make sure to destroy the tower, though, first, of course, to prevent any Homecoming Stone support. Look at Drunken Master, by the way. He actually picks up a first item, Helm of the Victim. I don't know the first item, I guess.
Looks like, yeah, he's going for that Incendiary.
Yeah, he did that against Sync Esports, so clearly something he likes to do.
Might want to pick up the Mystic Vestment before that. There's a lot of more magic damage from this Hellborn team here.
Yeah.
Midas actually picking up Bracelet as well, so he is definitely concerned about the burst damage on the Hellborn team. He wants a little bit more stats before he builds towards that, either tablet or pull key.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised to see it, the Astrolabe.
Oh, the Astra, yeah, that's a good point. Could be.
I see it every now and then, and I hear like that. Again, it's one of those ideas, him a Flux as well, where you get the Crushing Claw anyways, usually early on in the game to assist with the laning phase, and eventually can transition into the Bracer and then, of course, the Astrolabe, so why not? And there's no other candidate for it. It's one of those good items to have in general, so...
Yeah, it's usually very effective as well versus these magic-heavy teams in the early game because, I mean, as soon as they have used their spells, if you can just survive that initial burst of damage, then you're going to be really fine if the team fight progresses after that. So survive the initial burst and you're going to be just fine. So yeah, Astra is probably a smart pick up here from Only.
The pause coming out here from Reason Gaming. We'll see, I'm sure had a couple of pauses here today. Nothing too long, though. Let's make sure everyone's back, though, before... we unpause.
I would like them to address their own force a little bit more. They have the Dark Lady, so he can easily, catch one or two heroes like the Magnus, for example, and prevent them from escaping. But he needs at least one more, maybe the Mora or the Drunken Master. I don't know. Midas can also go in there. I mean, he got a Fortified Bracelet, so he shouldn't be too afraid. Puppet Master Ultimate is on cooldown. They know that for a fact. So still allowing the Hellborn team to be in their forest, farming freely. I feel like Drunken Master should rotate as well to his own lane because I mean he is playing ballsy up here.
Yeah, yeah, he's pushed up pretty far and feeling pretty good about doing so. You see right there the projected win percentage based on all the stats and whatnot. It seems like Mint more so in a pretty good spot here early on. But Drunken cleaning up some camps and looking to finish that in Sanitarius perhaps before he starts looking to get pretty involved here. In the meantime, Imbo Boy again continues to somewhat struggle. Not even remotely building a Rune Cleaver here. And actually, ooh, Sandwraith ulti, are they going to look to actually jump, or was that more so the scout? It looks like more of the scout. Yeah, that's obviously, we see the teams do that from time to time. Flux, we've seen them many times before. Sandwraith will be that case of using the ulti just to get an idea of where the other team's at.
Yeah, not too many wards out on the map right now. Or actually, is that a Shroud at the bottom? They're going to try to find Imbo Boy, but they're going into the wrong Duke spot. Maybe Sip is going to stay here. Oh, no, he doesn't.
He did, maybe, but... yeah, the Sandwraith ulti earlier, going back to that, again, it did scout Puppet or Dark Lady sitting down here in the jungle trying to hide. So they try to capitalize off of it, but obviously come up just short there. Yeah, instead of farm elsewhere.
We can see the Hellborn team now pushing out Drunken Monster from this top lane. I feel like Zane really should transition then to the bot lane and help boxing out this Puppet Monster and Magnus from their force instead of just sitting top doing, well, more or less nothing at this point.
Yeah. So what do you take about Dark Lady? Again, not even remotely building a Rune Cleaver yet. Is that just because he hasn't had the gold? Or, I mean, he has a ring of the Teacher. He built the full Soul Scream ring here. As actually, hold that thought, though, Drunken Master... could be in some trouble up here. He's going to pop Untouchable. I think he should be fine. Yeah, especially with that. But yeah, so going back to Dark Lady, is he actually going to pass up a Rune Cleaver, you think, and just go more like Abyssal Scully or something? Or?
Yeah, I don't think he has a choice. Initiation in the mid.
Oh yeah, there's a jump here. Eruption comes out with a Voodoo Puppet, and obviously Midas quickly killed. Magnus has been basically hugging this Puppet Master, man. He's been sitting right next to him for a while here, and it pays off there, though.
I like it. It's cute. I mean, they have more or less, completely shut Legion off from their forest. And once again, Zane is up here at the top, and I just don't approve. I feel like they should try to secure the bottom forest. I mean, sure, they have control over now, so it might not be the biggest deal, but if the Hellborn team were to go down there, then they should definitely try to address it as soon as possible.
Yeah, Dark Lady kind of pushing it out here. Again, the Ward of Sight. Obviously, the creeps, they know that she's... right here and currently by herself, actually, so wouldn't be surprised to see Mint trying to make a move on that, but or more so Zebe, yeah, playing the Puppet Master here. 460 gold per minute now. I mean, he's going to have a Whispering Helm finish right here. on top
Yeah,
of
that's
the
impressive
assassin
for a Puppet Monster. A ranged carry on 460 GPM this early on into the game is very scary. I think, I mean, we talked about Rune Cleaver as well, and it's simply like it takes too much time. When you're up versus Dark Lady, you want to push as much as possible or be engaged in the team fights so that he never reaches that rune timing, so to say. Before he gets the rune, the Abyssal, and the BKB at least, sometimes you even get the Firebrand before the BKB. The hero is, I mean, in team fights, he's not very useful, but in this particular case, he's just never going to get to that point. He can't afford to farm for another 25 minutes because at that time, I mean, we're going to have a 500 GPM Samaref and a 600 GPM Puppet Master if this keeps going.
Yeah. I mean, Legionary is getting really close to a portal key, but look at Puppet Master. He's going to hide in the jungle here. If he has
going to be scouted,
assassin shot coming up, yeah, they are going to find him. Okay, they will see him right there, but they can't do much else there. So, yeah, needing that dust, definitely. I'm sure going to be a priority now for this Legion team. Let's take advantage of any catch chances that they have like that. So another 1,500 gold saved up a Dark Lady. So, yeah, again, Quincy kind of pointing out there, it's not like it's necessarily a really rare thing to see a Dark Lady with no Rune Cleaver. It happens to be 4 and 6 without one, but only 10 and 11, I think it was, with Rune Cleaver. So,
yeah.
Kind of.
Well, that's a little bit misleading as well, those stats in a way, because you are going for a Rune Cleaver as long as you feel like the game is going all right-ish. It's only in, if it's going really damn poor in the beginning that you don't want to go for the Rune Axe. So therefore, the stats are a little bit manipulated that way. But I mean, Puppet Monster. Or I mean, this is something that I noticed versus Sync as well. Recent Gaming, they're really bad at stacking the ancients. I want to point fingers, but I mean, Sane as well, he was standing right next to them this minute, and he didn't stack them. I mean, that's something that, Mint here have done. They have taken tri-stacks, I think, 2 or 3 times already this game, and it's really showing off. That's more or less the entire golden experience difference right now between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. Sand Wraith, 2,300 plus gold saved up. I think especially, with maybe the way the game's going, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see him just go for a Mock of Brilliance here. I know it's a little greedy, but he has a Puppet Master teammate who's even farming better, and obviously is doing enough movement here for the team to... You got Kraken now with an Insanitarius, that's a kind of signature thing of his, so... I really think a Mock of Brilliance here on Sandwraith is probably going to be the case, and I kind of like it, personally. I mean, what about you? Do you think that actually makes sense?
Seeing as they're so far ahead and they're up versus a Legionnaire, I would almost say that going into Geometers or Brutalizer or something like that would be better. I don't think, I actually played a team matchmaking game earlier today with Samaref on a little bit lower MMR, and I had really good farm, and I went for the Mock of Brilliance, but I was like, I didn't find any farm on the map. Like, I couldn't go necessarily aggressive because I was up versus a Legionnaire in that case as well. And I knew for a fact that if there were 2 members, then I was going to fall. So I couldn't get to their side of the map. And my forest was always out-farmed because I had another carry in my team. Just as in this case, we got a Puppet Master. So I don't necessarily know if it's necessary. Usually you want it versus heroes like Behemoth and Magnus as well to cancel their portal keys. And sure, it could be nice to cancel the Legionnaire portal key, but I don't think it's needed. I feel like go for another strong item like the Brutalizer, for example, and then put some aggression onto Legionnaire, or to the recent gaming.
Yeah. Well, you definitely could still see the Brutalizer, but 3,100 gold now saved up, so we'll see what direction Probus does choose to go here ultimately. Now, an interesting thing is actually Kraken. Okay, I'm going to assume that was maybe planned?
No, it can't have been. It must have been some Insanitarius misclick or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, he does that. It's not the friendliest item sometimes if you think, you're like, oh, I'm fine, I'll just reactivate it here, and it's like dead. Oh, wait a second. A little bit awkward, but again, not the end of the world. Double portal key, though, picked up by the Legion team. They've had it for like a minute or so now. Both Midas and Legionnaire got it pretty much at the same time. So, still yet to see a lot of movement for taking advantage of the portal keys, honestly, but at least they have it here, so we'll see if that comes into play here shortly. And also, a Sustainer picked up on Imbaboy, and I believe I saw him purchase a Broadsword, so he actually is still going the Rune Cleaver.
All right.
On Dark Lady, even despite the circumstances, so. And I think I just saw sort of the high in Sand Wraith. Yeah, just purchased, so there you go.
I feel like if they would have gone for something different than on Samaref, they could have just taken over the Legion Force completely, if he had some little bit more survivability items right now. Going that Mock kind of prevents that in a sense, but... at least they're going to have late game if it like evolves. But I mean, look at the forest already. I mean, everything is farmed out. I mean, do you really need a mock that helps you farm even faster? I mean, everything is already cleared up. You're not going to find any more farm on the map at this point, unless you take territory and get into the enemy forest.
Probusk says yes.
Yeah, he does. I know he likes to farm, but yeah, we'll just have to see how it progresses. But I feel like it's a little bit of a missed opportunity not to take this Runed Axe on Dark Lady, you know, into consideration and actually punish him for it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And especially maybe if they really knew that, then maybe a different story. But Puppet Master going to be caught here in the meantime. Morio initially going in. Legionnaire falls with the Portal Kid. They get the kill, but Legionnaire, you look at the damage coming in. That's sort of the high on Sandwraith, allowing him to do so much, especially with the Deserter debuff. So, well, he does a lot of work right there with his ultimate. Obviously, the rest of the team, too, was there, so to be fair, so it wasn't just him. But good damage overall. Coming out 2-for-1 exchange. Again, they lost Puppet Master, but at least they have the quick response right there. But now bottom lane, actually Flux might be in some trouble. He pops a release, not even realizing that he was all of a sudden going to be jumped, and he goes down quickly, and this is going to be a tower kill as well. So actually, Reason Gaming, they get a lot going for them right there, and there's the Rune Cleaver delivered to Dark Lady. So, well then. Huh.
Yeah, that's a nice trade for sure. Definitely needed. Runed Axe now, I mean, he's going to start to snowball a little bit, but I mean, they still need to stack these actions. I mean, if it would have been Tri-Stack, he could have TP'd over straight away and he could have gotten that Abyssal Skull almost instantly, but now when it's not, I mean, you are going to lose out on a lot of gold per minute by not doing so. Oh, mid.
Yeah, Drunken Master not able to use Untouchable. I guess it was on cooldown. In fact, he goes in, though. He's like, you know, you're going to jump me, you're going to get jumped back. Andromeda, the swap onto Magnus. It's not going to matter, though. They cut right through him. Andromeda is going to get away. Midas.
Well played by Sane right there.
Yeah.
Securing the kill onto the Andromeda. Or to the Magnus.
Magnus, yeah. Made that happen at least. So Sandwraith, though, he gets the mock delivered, but you're right. Now with him going this, again, it doesn't necessarily take advantage.
They're not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to go offensive at this. I mean, a Dark Lady is going to outcarry Sandwraith big time. It doesn't matter if he has a mock. He's not going to find any more farm on the map. That's just what happens when you pick these kind of heroes in, or when you play these kind of heroes in competitive. There's only a limited amount of farm on the map. I mean, team matchmaking is one thing because then people might not be as efficient and go around for more ganks and stuff because the wards might not be the best. But in competitive, you're more stuck on your side in a sense unless you use that Veiled Rot. And at this point, I mean, you can't even use the Veiled Rot because the Mock Brilliance is going to reveal you. No, but yeah, missed opportunity a little bit, I feel.
Yeah. Mighty Blade on Puppet Master. He's well on his way to a Shrunken Head again. Zibe just continues to farm very well here. 450 gold per minute plus in this game. So, yeah, Sandwraith hasn't been played much, but the 3 times of the 6 he has been played, he has got mock and 1-2 record on top of that. So, again,
so cute. Mint uses both the Sandwraith ultimate and Flux ultimate to scout out their opponents. Or every single time Reason Gaming is like grouping up, they're like, oh damn, come on.
It's a good idea. You know, Fusin, I was talking with him before the World Finals even of BFG, and, you know, they actually happened to run a Thunderbringer strategy, I think it was, for whatever reason, and it kind of brought that up, and that's what he talked about. He's like, the ideal was that you can use the ulti for scouting purposes. You know, we do that with Flux every now and then, and it really kind of throws off the other team. They think they're setting up for a gank or in a good spot. They're all missing on the map. You just pop the Flux ulti, and all of a sudden you know exactly where they are, and it kind of thwarts their plan. So it actually is a really powerful tool. But in this case, as you mentioned, obviously we see 2 of them with the Flux and the Sandwraith. So it's well played on their part and taking advantage of obviously what they have. You see in the middle lane right there, Moira's kind of distracting them. You're actually prioritizing a Void Talisman early on in this game here.
Yeah, I guess it's the more, or the Sandwraith ultimate is just too afraid now when he got a Monk as well that he can easily burst him down. This Void Talisman kind of prevents him from doing so. But I mean, look at the gold per minute difference between Probusk and Imboboy. That was a Dark Lady that was down at like 200 GPM 10 minutes ago, while Probusk was still up at like 350 GPM. And so far, I mean, he's not finding any farm on the map. I mean, he's running around in the forest, but it's mostly 1 stacks because every single minute he clears everything in the forest. So feel like they should, yeah. I don't know. A Dark Lady is catching up to him.
It's always crazy to see, you know, a hero like that. It gets their big farming tool and just how they start to flash farm with it. And Dark Lady no different, of course, that Rune Cleaver. 375 gold per minute now. Middle lane, we have a possible engagement. Big Flux ulti on top of the Magma Sun, and Dark Lady no longer there. She dies. The Arcane Vortex not in time. Might not have mattered anyways, and now Moria, she pops the Void Talisman, but going to fall shortly after, so good find right there. Midas also picked off in the meantime. That's going to be a tower kill on top of that. But clearly Fresh getting very active, and now they have their biggest lead of the game of 5,600 gold and 8,000 experience, and guess where they're going? Right to the Conqueror pit to finish off Conqueror here. So Dark Lady does remain fairly squishy still, and that kind of showed off right there. She happened to jump right into the Lava Surge stun too, or got pulled into it more so. But
yeah, nice coordinated gank on their part. They did this very well in their last series as well, which we were casting yesterday versus, was it Nullstone Gaming? Yeah, they had several cases where their communication when it came to those gank attempts were just spot on. And once again, they're showing that if you let your guard down just for a split second, you are going to get punished.
Yeah. Coming up to 28 minutes right here now. Mint, they got the Conqueror kill. Do they give it to Puppet? Yeah, they give it to Puppet Master here, level 17. He's really farmed. 1,800 more gold saved up now on top of the Holy Trinity of items. That being the Assassin Shroud, Whispering Helm, and Shrunken Head to start here. Sandwraith is very likely going to have his own Shrunken Head as well coming up. He's also going to be found by Legionnaire here, but Legionnaire by himself. It's not nearly going to be that big of a threat. Moira kind of harassing Puppet Master in the meantime. Trying to steal some Ancients, but is actually unsuccessful with that. And Puppet will finish them off. Did I just see a Soul's Bulwark on Puppet Master? It looks like it.
Shiba
okay.
actually likes to do that, to get the demonic breastplate on those carries. He's like, if nobody else is gonna get it, then I sure as hell am. He's not gonna go do the same mistake as Sync did in the last series.
That's interesting.
I mean, you can see it right there. I mean, how much they are prioritizing the bulwark. I mean, they have the ranged carry picked up 28 minutes into the game. So, I mean, yeah.
You'd honestly think Flux would actually be a great candidate for it, but yeah, just choosing to get it himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going for. It must be something specific that Crack is saving up for, seeing as he doesn't go for the demonic breastplate.
Yeah, 3,500 gold saved up. We do have an engagement here in the middle lane. In the meantime, trying to jump Legionnaire. Shrunken Head popped by Puppet Master. Arcane Vortex in the background. Legionnaire's dead pretty quickly. And Moria is probably going to follow suit. Maybe not. Oh, nice hit right there. And yeah, one more to finish her off. So double tap for Zibe there. Meanwhile, the top lane, Dark Lady's going to be fine. But a couple more kills happening, and Dark Lady needs to be a little bit careful. But oh, back to the bottom. They keep going, and they catch Midas. A hat trick now for Zibe. Coming out. Back up to Dark Lady. She gets the tower kill. She's going to be able to pour it out because, again, knows that Flux can't stop her. But her teammates are dying left and right in the meantime, and that's never a good thing. And now here comes the tower push on top of that. So that's going to be a secondary tower kill, and you can tell Mint is definitely found something here as far as things coming together. And that Puppet Master I keep going back to, though, 500 plus gold per minute. Also a Sandwraith of 400 plus. He actually is going to have his own Shrunken Head here very shortly. I don't know. It's not looking good right now for Reason Gaming here in game number 1.
Certainly not. Mint is looking really strong, and this Puppet Master has been spot on the entire game. He just continues to make the leading team feel unsafe. So, I mean, even though Mint is all on their side of the map right now, TDL is still afraid of leaving the base.
See Flux and Andromeda up here. They're kind of pushing it in, seeing if they can get any kind of response just yet. Haven't gone far enough. 1,800 on Midas. We mentioned the possibility of going an Astrolabe, but it doesn't look like he's going to it at this point, actually. So Steak going to try to prioritize something else here.
Yeah, there's the big B finish on Summer of Snow as well. I'm not sure how the Legion team is going to be able to deal with that.
Yeah. Puppet Master, 2,000 more gold saved up. He's seeing if anything in the middle lane, but nothing there. Again, Dark Lady at least will have a Shrunken Head shortly. He is level 16. How impactful is that going to be, you think, compared to most games? Like, again, they are behind quite a bit. Having a Shrunken Head and whatnot on a Dark Lady here is big, but they need a lot more, right?
Oh yeah, they need a lot more. They need a miracle at this point. Only, by the way, he didn't go for that Astro. He went for the Polki instead, so deciding that it's, I don't know, deciding that they don't want to take this into like the team fight. They just want to focus on the gank attempts instead. But so far it hasn't been very successful. The BKB on Dark Lady, I mean, it's a must. So, I mean, there's no other road for him to go, but it's not going to change a thing at this point. It's going to absorb some damage from the Magnus, sure, but he got a Blessed Orb already. So I don't think that the TDL is going to be able to, even though he has the BKB, chase down any of these Hellborn heroes.
Puppet Master just feeling very confident to the point where he's just going to kind of push the bottom lane by himself. Not really. That's that backup. 30 seconds about remaining on the token of life, so not going to be pushing into the base necessarily with it, but still getting plenty out of it at the same time. As that's going to be another secondary tower kill down there. And the goalie just gets even much bigger here for now upwards of 11.5K, 15,000 plus experience lead. Top lane Legionnaire, he wants to make a play, but he doesn't get there nearly in time.
Not sure how the Hellborn team spotted that, but they had a very good heads up there about what was coming. They ported both their supports back to aid Samrav. Even though Samrav was in the base more or less, he was about to get jumped. So, yeah, nice heads up by Iceland Gogo and Cerny on that part, on their part.
Yeah. Drunken Master finishing off the Ancients here. Again, it's Sanitarius. He actually has the bound die that he picked up. Not much else. It's kind of the story here overall for the Legion team. And a good amount of gold saved up on Midas, so we keep looking back at him and wondering what we're going to be seeing out of Midas here. I mean, obviously something like a Sheepstick eventually would be nice, but to try to save up for a straight-up Sheepstick this early on in the game seems like
what is
be over.
that? Oh, Storm Spirit.
Yeah, he gets a Storm Spirit here.
Yeah, I mean, they need to keep Dark Lady alive, but at the same time, I mean, there are no sheep sticks or hellflowers in the game so far, and he has the BKB, so I feel like maybe going a little bit more offensive items might be a better idea. We saw this earlier on today as well when only we were going for the Alchemist Bones in the BKB. Sometimes I feel like he's a little bit too defensive. It was on the Midas as well, actually, so...
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Of course, that was up against a Parasite in that game, but still... Yeah, the Shrunken Head following up the Alchemist Bones was really the oddest thing there. Puppet Master, bottom lane, they want to jump him. Dark Lady gets
They
close
didn't put the stun off.
Oh,
and no
gosh.
BKB used either. BKB,
yeah,
what?
and now Dark Lady just melts away. Arcane Vortex, but it was way too late. Definitely a misplay from Imbaboy right there, and it's very likely going to be more. Moira is also going to be caught, and actually her stun is doing some good work, but... Again, the long run will very likely die. The Mocker Prolance, in fact, helping to take her down. Legionnaire jumps in. Oh, well, he killed Andromeda, I guess, but he goes down as well. And meanwhile, in the middle lane, I think Drunken Master was here. Yeah, Drunken gets killed. So just across the board, and I was going to say, honestly, I think Reason Gaming just at a point of, you know what, enough is enough, damn it. Let's move on to the next game. So game one, victorious in favor of Mint right there over Reason Gaming, and pretty much good control all throughout. Safe to say. Is Nui final thoughts on the game one?
They played well. I think they executed the draft just as they were supposed to, keeping the offensive pressure up all the time. Magnus, Puppet Master, more or less holding hands, taking control of the Legion force in the early stages of the game. Even though they were giving Legion a little bit too much space during the laning phase, I still think they handled it in a good way afterwards. So, no, props to all of them, especially Sibbe, definitely MVP of that game. Just keeping a very, very high profile on the Puppet Master. 535 GPM, 34 minutes into the game is very respectable. Yeah.
Yeah, Sibbe definitely did fantastic there. And again, clearly, you know, Probus, Sibbe, we talk about these players a lot specifically too. You know, going to the World Finals, the playoffs at least, they were so motivated. Probus made that point on, you know, in the interview, and especially with his case, out of the year before, you know, in a sense he got kind of